Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni, and this is my wonderful co-host, Danny, and we have an exciting show for you today. So we're going to be beginning our Godheads series in human design. So this is going to be a year-long process done in 8 parts, and then we'll go over all 16 Godheads in this time. And I'm pretty excited because Godheads are one of those things that you don't really hear about much in human design. And then you see it mentioned and you don't know what it is and you don't know what it means. And it's kind of weird to find out what it's all about. So I thought this would be a fun way for us to dive into it.
And I'm glad we're breaking it up, Moni, because it's going to keep the suspense at the same time. It sort of allows it to breathe. It's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm in a little bit of suspense. You did the deep dive on this aspect of things. And so I'm learning as I go. This is great. I remember listening to it, right? When I went through it, but that was a number of years ago. And frankly, I got a little bored. I'm like, right, Godhead, Schmothead, great. Get back to the mechanics.
Yeah, I feel like if you tried to handle all 16 at once, like you're just going to drift out after the first like 2 or 3. So I figured this was like a really fun way, as you said, to split it up and understand. It's ultimately like all of it's symbolic, and it's understanding this symbolic expression.
Gotcha. Well, great. Let's dive right in.
Let's dive in. Yeah. So thank you to everyone who's watching live, who's watching on the replay. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all the fun stuff, because that keeps us going and, helps us build our little channel. So let's dive into it.
Yeah, let us grow. What are we up to? Close to 600 subscribers now.
Yeah, we're just short of 600.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you deeply. Yeah.
Thank you. So here is our mandala wheel view of the 16 Godheads. And I just thought this image was so beautiful. So I was more than excited to include it into our presentation. So these are essentially 16 archetypal themes that are kind of representing and externalizing the energy of the I Ching trigrams that we talked about last week. So check out that video as well. And so for today, we're actually going to be starting here in the beginning of this quarter of civilization. The human design wheel is split up into 4 quarters. So we're going to be starting off this civilization one down here in the green. And we're going to be talking about the Godheads of Maya and Lakshmi.
Can I point something out here, Moni?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this is just mechanical stuff, right? Remember, I'm following you into this. So this wheel, as I've been looking at, because I've looked at this picture many times, and what I notice and looking more deeply is the fact that most of the Godheads traverse pieces of 2, a large part and then a small part of 2 zodiac signs. And so this is and it's just not all of them. I noticed the vessels line up pretty good. But they always have. It's just that they still traverse more than one mostly, and it gives a different color to how I've always said to people, if you want to understand the zodiac sign a little differently and add more flavor to it, it's to know the gates that are in there. And I'd always say 4 or 5 gates that are in there, because it's a little bit of both. It's 4 point something gates per Godhead, or is it 5?
Yeah, no, it's 4. It's 4 gates. Each of the 16 Godheads represent 4 gates. I'm sorry, for zodiac.
Yep. It's 4 point something per zodiac, and sometimes it's closer to 5, and sometimes it's just funny.
Yeah, it looks like 5, 6-ish for my general estimation on it.
Yep. So it's just interesting how this traverses and allows some mixing to still happen.
Yeah, I love just looking at human design through different lenses, because there's so much. Like, human design is never ending. Like you wanted something to study for a lifetime, you have human design. Look at the cosmology, look at the biological, look at the psychological. Like, you can go every direction. And I'm really stoked about this. I'm really excited about this.
Cool.
All right, let's mosey on. So we went over this last week in great detail. So check out that video. I'm going to link it in the description and in the little corner box and all that. But just as a brief rundown, this diagram shows basically how we go from the base yin yang. So up top, we go from the base yin yang, the yin being feminine and magnetic, the yang being masculine and electric, and essentially how you duplicate the yin or the yang. So you double the yin, and then you add another yin and a yang. And on the yang side, you double the yang and then add another yin and yang. And you just keep duplicating and extrapolating outward. And so you go from the base yin yang to the base pair into the 8 trigrams down here.
Mm. Yeah, and it's this layer of the trigrams that give us all the Godhead. This is where
Essentially,
we get to 16, because if we just at the base pair, we're at 8. And if we're just at the 1, the yin and the yang, those are our quarters, essentially.
yeah. So this is a cool diagram for what you're talking about. So with this, we're going from the yin yang. I love this view of the mandala, by
Hmm.
the way. It's one of my favorite. I could look at it endlessly. So you go from the base yin yang into these base pairs, which that's going to be really fun to talk about as well. Then you keep extrapolating out, and then here you have the 8 trigrams. And then the next row out, you have the Godheads. And then you
16
go
of
in,
them. Yeah.
yeah. And then you have 5 lines, which I have not found any specific significance of the 5 lines. But then at the very outer end, then you have your full 6-line hexagrams.
Yeah, each 5, it's funny, each 5 line is still sifting down to get to the 1 on the outside. So it fits in like mathematically, but
Yeah.
it traverses 2 gates each. Each one traverses 2 gates each. It's a constant fanning out. It's sort of
Yeah.
how you get to infinity with this wheel.
Yeah. And so this is like the archetype for all of human expression. Like, it's just so cool. And then you brought this up last week when we were talking, how it's really neat how the 6 lines, which represent like the full 6 lines of the gate, it's like outside of the wheel, because the 6th
Mm.
line is like outside and it's already moving towards the next one, and it's kind of like outside looking over.
We wonder why aloofness is a 6-line theme, and Fool on the Hill and all this stuff that's sort of on the roof that separates the 6th line from everything else.
Yeah, like literally like distanced out. So
Coolio.
yeah, so for our purposes, the Godheads were looking at this 4th line out. So I tried to like shrink it down so it's a little bit easier to not get completely overwhelmed. And so it's really
Mhm.
cool is the 4th line can be the 4th line of the Godheads. These Godheads can be seen as like a 4th line externalization of the trigrams. So the 4th line, like think of like your friend who's got the 4th line, and they're the opportunist and then they're networker and they're here to externalize the message. The Godheads are basically figureheads, right? This is all symbolic. This isn't, you're not like worshiping these like deities or something. It's all like a symbolic way to look at it. But it's kind of neat because the 4th line, which each Godhead is 4 lines, basically externalizes one of the trigrams. So for our purposes, it's going to be Earth externalizing Maya and Lakshmi. And I just
Mm.
thought that was a really cool way to like understand. It's like they're figureheads. They're kind of like the spokesperson for each of the trigrams.
Yeah, and when you're going through all this and looking at this, it is part to take an esoteric, almost mythical view of this stuff as you incorporate. Don't ever lose track of the mechanics when you're reading a design, obviously.
Yeah.
And but when you come into what does more stuff mean as you sit and contemplate, this adds a ton of flavor. Every astrologer must have sat and contemplated forever on all kinds of cool things, right? And it's the same thing here. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to keep like portioning these down into like smaller pieces of the pie. And so for this is the quarter of civilization. And what's interesting is that within the quarter of civilization, we're just about to start it, by the way, all the throat gates are activated within this quarter. So there's this pressure to manifest, and there's this verbal and acoustic articulation and expression. And this is about getting things done, building and making things. And the keynotes for the quarter of civilization are purpose fulfilled through form. And the mystical theme is from womb to room.
So this whole form of the Godhead itself is as it adds all the people into civilization, and each quarter as we go around, all of them are going to come together to have a certain theme. And here we'll have 4 of them because there's 16 total. And so I can't wait to basically see how it all ends up playing out. 4th line externalization coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for the sake of explaining this as well, so here we have our base yin yang, and then it goes into the base pair of Dubé, which is a star, and we're going to go into that on the next slide. But just for the mechanical line understanding of this, you have Dubé, which is the base pair, and then that splits off into earth and mountain by just adding another yin or a yang on top.
Mm. Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
Earth and mountain it is.
Yeah. So for to understand this quarter of civilization, which is represented by that double yin line, it's Dubé. And so Dubhe is the alpha star of the Ursa Minor, or the alpha star of the Ursa Major constellation, which is also known as the Great Bear. And it's the Big Dipper pointer star guiding to Polaris, which is the North Star. So on our little constellation here, the purple star is Dubhe. And so if you follow up from there, it'll point up to the North Star. And that's how you can actually always find the North Star, is by find the Big Dipper and then see where that line points up to. So that's the North Star. And this quarter of civilization is about taking the mental initiation sparked in the first quarter and turning it into something tangible. And this is about building, structuring, manifesting into the material world. This is where the realm of form, where purpose is fulfilled through physical expression, societal constructs, and refinement of resources. So Dubhe is the energetic overseer of the quarter of civilization and of that foundation. And this is where human potential meets the physical world. And in a symbolic, fun way to look at it, where the bear's steady strength is guiding humanity to navigate and shape the material plane and setting the stage for the relational and transformative quarters to follow.
So this whole setting of the stage for the transformation, each quarter does that for the upcoming quarter. And I guess mutation does it finally back for initiation again.
Yeah. I just thought this was like really fun because I first saw it was like Dubhe, Alcyone, Jupiter, Sirius. I was like, what?
What Dubhe? What else about Dubhe? Is there any more you can say about just Dubhe himself? A Greek. I think you had said, well, there's Greek gods, Roman gods. All this Dubhe would have been represented throughout all the ages, most likely. Right?
Yeah, I didn't see anything with Dubhe besides that it was a star. I didn't find any like mythological in that regard. Some of the other ones do, when you went to Jupiter and Alcyone and stuff like that. But for Dubhe, is basically that it's this Big Dipper pointer star, and it's part of the Ursa Major, which is the Great Bear.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So now we're slicing it into an even smaller piece of the pie and into the Earth trigram. So the Godheads of Maya and Lakshmi are the fourth line externalization of the Earth trigram, and Earth makes inspiration manifest. It gives it form and sustains its growth.
This whole Earth that comes, this beginning trigram leading up to the third line, since it stays with civilization, it guarantees a type of building. And when you look through this, like you mentioned, all the throat gates are here. So everything about the Godheads here they're gonna ring of some kind of energetic building, putting together. I mean, you tell me, Moni, but I'm guessing that would have to be the case. This will be the overriding theme, a yin theme, nesting, taken care of, and coming off of the quarter of initiation means all stuff, not all, but so much stuff of what is mind and what mind has done, and the tumultuousness of mind. Think of how tumultuous initiation is. It's got 36, it's got 51, it's got format gates, it's got lots of stuff in there. So I can't wait to see how the names of the Godheads and what they are fall through in this fourth line externalization.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really fun way. And just to clarify again, so the Earth trigram is those 3 yin lines over here. And so if you duplicate them and then add another yin and another yang, that's where we get Maya and Lakshmi. And Maya and Lakshmi, again, these are figureheads. This is a symbolic way to look at them as kind of the spokespeople of the Earth trigram.
Right, exactly. So this is the very first expression of it. There'll be another one too, because there'll be 4 Godheads in this quarter, right?
So the next ones are going to go over mountain, will be our next trigram.
Exactly. Something that's really cool to point out to tie this into the genetics of this all. By now, everyone knows that the I Ching is a mathematical representation of our genome as well. So this is the energetic point. This is where these externalizations change. They keep changing. The voice and the manifesting of what would come out of here changes right in this section between 3 and 4. If you just look at where are the Godheads coming, the changing lines are in the 3rd and 4th. The trigram ends at 3, but the middle binary, when you're counting in 2s in genetics and here, becomes an energetic place. It's an energetic place. Things are getting cooked up in the 3rd line and then energetically talked about in the 4th line. This is a very strong place. It's a big part of how we do our determination, right? we're always breaking it down into those three different binaries. So I just find it interesting. The energetic place where this thing does its changing inside the trigram is between 3 and 4 in the what's also the energetic binary, sits above the base pair of our genome. So it's incredible. It's just how it all lines up.
Yeah. And it's neat how the third lines, right? And the third line, like again, your friend who's a third line who always bumps into the material world, the third line, all of these trigrams are something material. It's earth, it's mountain, it's thunder, it's water, it's these material things. And then the fourth line comes in next to like externalize it out into out into the world.
Into the world, yeah. Through us, by the way. We're the ones externalizing it. Right?
Yeah, if you have these gates, especially I would imagine like in your, personality sun, then they'd be the most expressive. Then it's kind of playing through us.
Absolutely.
Cool. Ready to dive in?
Let's move along. Maya.
Yeah. So here we have the goddess Maya. So this is yin over earth. So it's the yin externalization of earth. So Maya was known as the good goddess, and she was the goddess for the yin, and men were not even allowed in her temple. And Maya is also the origin word for the month of May. So she's a Roman goddess and the eldest sister of the Pleiades constellation. And in mythology, she was Zeus's lover and the mother of Hermes. Hermes being the one who shared the wisdom of the gods with the humans. And Ra speaks a lot about the importance of mothers educating children in the representation of Maya. And so Maya embodies receptivity, natural intelligence, and the effortless unfolding of truth in alignment with the present moment. And this governs the way we translate the unseen into form. And it's about the transition between the hidden and the revealed. And this gestation of knowledge before its manifestation. So Maya calls us to surrender to the wisdom of the present moment, to embody truth without distortion, and to let life's unfolding patterns reveal the path ahead.
It sounds like the description of the receptive, gate 2.
Yeah, that's represented right there. That's the first one.
Mm-hmm. That's the handle and the director of the direction.
That's cool. Yeah, because gate 2 is going to be earth over earth, so it's going to be 6 yin lines.
Yep, in total, yep. Gate 2.
Yeah, and she represents gates 2, 23, 8, and 20. So I was hoping that you can like tie something together for us with that.
2, 23, 8, and 20 up there in the left-hand corner. So 4, that's right, 4 plus 4, 16. So, and I was talking about 2. I love this. I love this. It's not the knower, it's the explainer of the contribution, the direction in the now. It's not the knower of it. 43 is the knower of it, but 23 stopped off the throat. 23 is just the pure essence of being able to assimilate. I assimilate the direction and give this contribution to you right now, my child. And this is all straight out of love. Gate 20 begs for love. Gate 8 and 2, 8 points at the G center, the love of ourselves in a direction. 2 is that Zeus's handle. It is the not the gas pedal, but it's the actual seat of the driver that drives the direction. These are not esoteric terms, by the way. These are mechanics. If you have a gate 2, will tell you in your life how the expression of your movement has been through gate 2. It'll show up and you'll see it. So that's how I would put these together, because she just wants, what does mother want to do in the time of civilization where we're building? Contribute. Let's assimilate what this is and contribute it. And it's fitting that there is no knower there, 43, because maybe they don't know yet. The knower comes later. That's so funny. The knower shows up in mutation right across the way, almost somewhere in there, I think. Yep.
Neat. Yeah, I thought this would be a fun way to talk about the mechanical aspect of it with these gates, the hexagram aspect of it with the here as the yin expression of earth, and then that symbolic mythological aspect of the Godheads.
We totally went over this beforehand. I knew those numbers would be in the upper left-hand corner, and yet I still forgot and was caught off guard in the moment, and I was thrilled about that. I'm like, the surprise was like, I get to read numbers.
Yay.
Yeah, it came out better that way, I think.
Yeah, super fun. So ready to dive into Lakshmi?
So she got all 4 of these. This is, yes, I can't wait to see the difference between the 2.
Yeah. Did you have any final thoughts on the 4 gates?
What
in Maya?
zodiac sign does this mostly traverse? Can we?
Let me pull out another chart. I swear, just books and charts all around my desk here.
Yeah. I should know my zodiac signs better. I
It's just
really
so
should.
many layers to add on to it. So gate 2, Taurus and into Gemini. I should have known that just because it's coming up. Yeah, Taurus into Gemini.
All right. I can't say anything profound about either one of them. I'm not.
No, it's just a fun thing. It just, here's
Yeah.
another layer to throw into here, and now it's on the video and everyone else can enjoy our absolute nerdery.
Taurus into Gemini has got this going on, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like that, like springtime aspect of it. It's just like, as you're like planting seeds, right? Like this earth over earth, springtime. She looks like this very like springtime earth goddess kind of vibes.
All of these gates are individual right now. Nourish the individual, nourish my unique baby, nourish the unique seed, you nourish it all.
That was cool to observe.
All
right. Ready?
Yes.
Perfect. So no, I love the excitement. Always with the excitement. So here we have the goddess Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the yang expression of earth. She's an Indian goddess of wealth, and she embodies prosperity and the dynamic force of cultivated abundance. This is about the richness of experience, the power of refinement, and the ability to manifest through devotion and discernment. Ra talks a lot about the material contribution to raising children and the need to invest in the future and the need for resources. This is about, he also talks about the rulers providing for subjects and how everyone needs to be producing resources because everyone's going to use the resources. So everyone's got to be producing more resources, right? And the tribe is all about resources. And this is the driving force of material life on the material plane. And so these gates, which are 16, 35, 45, and 12, are all about manifesting power. This is driving, initiating power. And so this teaches us the wisdom of refinement. And Lakshmi calls us to develop our gifts, trust in these cycles of expansion, and step into leadership with integrity, knowing that true richness is not just about material gain, but the artful expression of life's fullest potential.
Yeah, that sounds like the 9-centered version of what was once the 7-centered way, which was basically the opposite of what you just said. Which I like about it. So we add a yang on top, and I'll have you notice it looks a little bit like those arches you see in certain ways where you walk under the arch. It does nothing except you walk past it, and it's just a reminder of there's the step before, there's the moment in, and then there's the moment after. It gets to be a little delineating point to bring you into the now, to witness the before and after of that, which you can only see right now. And so this one here is quite material. So this is material mom. We had nurture mom. We had empower mom before. That's what we had. We had empowerment mom before. And now we have, which equals nurture mom. To empower your unique children is to nurture them. And now we have material mom. These gates, I got to be enthusiastic about the things that we're going to fully experience. I'm hungry for it. We're going to bring it to completion. I want to feel full with the way I get identified with the stuff that we're going to repeat. And 45 is going to teach that. And 45 is also going to demand plenty of that. And 45 is going to make sure 21, make sure it happens. And it'll have plenty to say in gate 12. If it isn't, gate 12 will articulate. Both 45 and 12 are here to articulate that. 35 articulates an experience, and 16 articulates its excitement, quite limited. 45 and 12, these two are almost like knights of the round table to each other, put in this particular way. 12 is no less than 45 or vice versa. 12 would be the knights themselves, and 45 would be the king. So the whole council of that which protects the material realm is here enthusiastically, and they're showing up for the experience inside a chick. That's great. We love it.
I love you, Danny, so much. It was so much fun. Because I knew if I just presented you with a bunch of cool stuff, we'd get something great out of you. I love that. I love that the 3 manifesting throat gates are here.
Oh, yes, that's true. The 3 manifesting ones. So this one, it has to be the material plane. It's only one way. Now, this particular configuration coming into humanity as an awake feature inside of us will bring the type of harmony that makes for an easier life, this is the high. I know how to make that easier life as long as we're all living in communion with one another. As soon as there's fighting and division, these things will disorganize and go to work on each other, against each other. So it's a lot of power here. This gives me a big clue as to, plenty of stuff that goes on in the world today, now I think of it. So I like it.
Yeah.
Let's wake up, people.
Yeah. And just a neat way to look at this, because this time's coming up. I mean, this is going to be in the next, couple weeks or whatever that we're switching into gate 2. So it's just a neat way to look at these. So it'd be May 3rd. May 3rd, we're shifting into the quarter of civilization. And this first will go into Maya, 4 gates, and then we'll go into Lakshmi. So this is, setting an externalized foundation of what's to come.
So this is proof that Maya is the foundation of these two things.
Maya's first, yeah.
Yes, and reasonably put, as far as our human experience goes, the foundation of it, because she's the one that does empower the actual refinement. Refinement is a 5th and 6th line expression, I believe, of gate 1's left angle cross. Gate 1 and gate 2, I'm pretty sure, are refinement when you get into that left angle cross. And it gives that refinement. So this side basically takes its 45 way and announces we have refinement, as if they invented it, but it was really empowered onto them. It's as if the very first part of this is the true empowerment bundle for the movement through this whole quarter and all the way around the wheel, if you choose that as a starting point. It's like the Energizer battery. It's all that individual definition. Interesting.
Yeah, neat stuff. So Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Thank you to our audience for exploring this deep dive with us. I'm excited to see where it continues through the year. So any final thoughts on...
So next week, can you say the names, forecast the names for next week?
Next week is going to be, we're going into Head and Ajna gates.
Oh, that's right. We're going to wait a little while before we do the next two.
We're going to do it split up between over the year and the next eight parts over the next year. We'll go through the 16 Godheads just as they're coming up chronologically through the year. So it's kind of a Godheads around the wheel through the year.
My only thoughts on the matter were this sets up civilization incredibly into a material path, doesn't it? It really does. And it comforts it in the lap of mother that empowers, the empowering mother. I mean, what a great, the empowering mother. I love it. Yeah, she doesn't have to be a manifester to be the empowering mother. Let dad do that. Or dad mom. We got mom, and dad mom here in this particular picture. I don't know, something like that.
Well, yeah, because it's the Maya as the yin expression of the earth trigram, the earth trigram being fully feminine. Yeah, right. And then Lakshmi is the yang externalization of the feminine trigram of earth.
Of earth, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this sets things up quite amazingly. So take this whole chunk of time, and any of you historians out there, take these two Godheads, these chunks of time, and see where it is in the calendar. Go back in time and find out what important things were set up during that time of year back in the past. You'll find some amazing stuff.
Yeah, this is going to be starting in May.
Yep. So all the May starts for civilization. Just go back. We're going to find incredible things that were, I would say, the discovery began here. 16 is all about that discovery sooner or later, right? I know 46 is really that channel, but 16 is excited for the discovery for sure. So
perfect. All right. So now are you ready to dive into our Earth trigram gate? So now we're going to go more specifically into the 8 gates that are next coming up, and we're going to look at them through the lens of trigrams.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's really fun here. So this was Danny's idea. We actually have the changing lines for these next 8 gates. So if you look, these bottom 3 lines, they're all continuing to be yin. So they're the broken double or the triple yin line at the bottom. So the bottom 3 are all 3 yin, and then the top 3 are changing. So these are literally the changing lines.
Dude, that's so cool.
It was your idea. I just did it.
Did Chris help with that? This is so
No,
cool.
I actually did it. I actually did it.
I love that.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. I was proud of
I'm
myself.
getting, I'm almost getting stuck like a bug to it.
Yeah, right.
So,
It'll just keep looping and repeating. So,
mhm.
Earth Trigram Gates, we're going to get into it. Thank you to everyone who's watching and liking and subscribing and commenting and interacting. I love it. Let's get into it. So we've been talking about the Earth Trigram, so we're just going to run over it again. So the Earth Trigram, this is the mother within our trigram family analogy because it's the 3 yin lines. Earth is open to receive and support, and it makes inspiration manifest. It gives it form and sustains growth. Earth is available to be used, ready to lend its strength to work without limit. And Earth protects and accepts all things in totality, present and potential, in an unconditional embrace.
That's so funny. This is all such sacred language. Not exclusively by any stretch. It
But that
protects.
receptive aspect of it, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's that receptive that points to the thing that inside of a penta becomes the fountain where all the penta energy pours out through gate 2. All of it. I think that's great.
So it's like receiving all of it and then also being the exit into
It's the
motion.
who is the one of the very important spokespeople for the sacral.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sacral preserves things. So to protect, like you said, and to make sure it stays in good shape and accepts all things, empowered. It really explains that mother version of Maya.
Yeah. Super cool. So this is the Earth Trigram. So next up we have gate 2, because we're going to be going through all the 8 gates of the Earth Trigram. So 2 is the receptive, and it's the direction of self. And this is Earth over Earth. And Earth is heaven's partner in bringing the world into being. The sun needs a place to shine, rain needs a place to fall, and seeds need soil to grow in. Flashes of inspiration need space and time to expand and take shape. The power of the land is to provide everything needed for all things to find their shape. And the hexagram is 6 yin receptive lines.
I'm still stuck on the first line. Earth is heaven's partner and bringing it all into form. So gate 2 has we're all using all these lovely things. Gate 2 has a fairly sharp aspect to it, a little bit salty. It's in a hurry. Gate 2 really wants to get the thing moving along. Keep that in mind. And it's actually healthy in an awake being. They're sort of pushing things along in the right timing. Gate 2, also at the bottom of the G center, is the expression of our love of direction as it relates to past, present, future. It just literally knows it's about to do that. And everything about gate 2, if you have a gate 2 in your body graph, do you have one, Moni?
Yeah.
You have gate 2. So you notice this. Oh, it's in a defined G center too. So you notice constantly reaching for more beauty.
Definitely.
It's not just a fifth line thing. I reach for more beauty sometimes. That's because gate 2's in the world. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
and you've seen it many times. I don't at all. I'm like, that's good enough. That's good enough. You're reaching for beauty, and that beauty is meant to be basically empowering the other to help that direction move towards more beauty. The aestheticness of 2 is done so without the love of money first. It's the thing that invented money is not, it says it's not everything, but in reality, it's almost not anything in this larger picture. Only gate 2 can really know that as it drives a direction. So, and drive it does. Make no mistake. Moni just said she can't help but to make things prettier.
I really can't. Like all the presentations, I get so excited making them pretty. I could not imagine doing like minimalist presentations or like painting my walls gray or beige. I was like, I didn't wait 30 years to paint my walls beige. Like, why would I not do purple and turquoise? Of course. Why
Absolutely,
would I not? It's
absolutely.
stars
And
and
I'll put out
sparkles everywhere.
screenshots with little shade corners if it's got the data I want to portray. You know what I mean? Danny,
Yeah.
that's a sketchy screenshot from like, a second generation. It's a little bit blurry. Yeah, yeah, but you can make it out, right? So
Yeah,
here's
it's
what it's
fine. It gets the
saying.
job done.
Yeah, it gets the job done. Right.
And I'm like, no, I
Right.
wanted to get the job done, but also be pretty and sparkle.
Pretty. Yeah,
So,
humanity's quest to make it more beautiful for everyone. Just think about it that way, because that's really what it is. Genetically speaking, it's beautiful.
Perfect. All right. That's a beautiful wrap up to gate 2. Ready to go on into the next one?
Mm-hmm.
So here we have gate 23, which is splitting apart and the gate of assimilation. And this is mountain over earth as our trigrams creating the hexagram. And mountain is continually stripped away, which is erosion. And the mountain continually stripped away is erosion. And there's a fertile valley below, a peaceful place for life and growth, stripping away at its highest potential, constant, gradual, natural, and painless process. Everything built up must continually erode away, leaving behind an enriched inner world, the quietest sense of home.
Yeah, it's like all the stuff up there from the head center on down to 23 is 61 to 23. A certain amount of quietness is needed, especially in 24 and 61. But get down to 23, the splitting apart. What's it assimilating in the body? 23 is our genetic proclivity to assimilate this frequency we call sound. And sound has a wide range. It's more than just the 88 keys of a piano inside our mind, inside our brain, and it assimilates all the various sounds and articulations, thoughts, notions, concepts, and it has to split it apart, like turn it into dust, like Humpty Dumpty, and in fact, 23 puts Humpty Dumpty back together again over and over and like nothing, like a walk through the park. Doop-a-doo. We've been complaining about Humpty. 23's been handling that the whole time. And it takes that noise, it splits it apart, and it pulls it back into something that is language, because we don't have it articulable yet inside the noise of 43. Trust me, I know. You have 43. Yep. And so it's not always articulable. 23 comes along and literally pulls it apart and puts it back together like at the same time. You make a sci-fi picture for that or something with a cartoon animating that, and it would be happening in real time at the same time. And that's its only job. It's not an awareness. It doesn't even know why it does it. It's hungry to do it because as soon as it can, its greatest joy is it empowers the other, and its greatest melancholy is that it can't empower anyone, and it never has the right timing for expression, and that its expression is not good enough. There's a melancholy. I'm just not getting it out there. Therefore, I'm not making the impact that I want. These two things we move between to keep telling us how we end up expressing. I like the erosion of the mountain. It erodes and then moves into the earth, and the earth reassimilates it back into life. We all know what that silt does when it's healthy, right? Not polluted.
Yeah, it's like fertilizer.
It's totally, and the drain and the mountain keeps building back up again, right? Sooner or later, there's more mountain to get worn down. There's always mountains to wear down. So
I really like. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, that's just splitting apart and assimilating.
That's really neat. I also really liked what you said in the very beginning of, excuse me, 23 like requires quiet. And it's like, oh yeah, because individual circuitry is auditory. And so you need to be quiet. So like 43, so you can hear the breakthrough. So you can hear that like auditory da-da-da-da-da coming through to receive it. And I don't know, that really struck me.
Well, the collective ones moving through the circuitry from the head ajna to the throat, they're about seeing the picture, drawing a picture, pictures in general. Even a picture like everything from 63 down to 62 would be about schematics and graphs and numbers in a picture form, picture numbers. It's all seeing the picture and explaining it in story forms and in logical forms. 23 has no such help. I loved the pretty pictures in the books when I was, 6, when I'm learning to read, and 5 and 4. The pictures helped. So, if there was no pictures, I would have just been stuck in my head, and I still would have learned, I'm sure, but stuck in my head. And anyways, what third grader isn't excited when the book report they have to write has a lot of pictures on the pages, so you don't have as much to read? That was me.
Yeah, I that's really fun. It's like the 64, like 47, and that side of that abstract collective circuitry. It's like storyboards, and then it's like the 63-4 into the 1762, and that logical splenic side is like schematics, and that individual down the middle is that auditory, just some kind of knowing comes in, And yeah, that 23, also that the 23, like especially people that have like the 43, 23, the 23 can kind of mispronounce words. And that blew my mind.
Muttering will be here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Absolutely.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because my boyfriend has like the full 43, 23, and he'll say something and it's like he'll pronounce some weird word incorrectly. And it's always kind of funny to me. And it's like, you know, you can take that on as like a complex until you realize, like, oh no, it's just like gate 23, because it's splitting apart the words and putting it back together and seeing how quickly, especially as a manifesting generator, skipping steps, right? But it's putting the words back together, and sometimes they come out a little bit funny. So you don't need to have a complex about that with gate 23.
Good call, Moni. It's so true. You don't. It's 23 is here to accept the pooling up of the concept factory that's been happening down to 43. That's just vibrating, and this vibration is, picture the vibration as throwing something against the wall that, you know, through only a knowing, has a picture form to it. And then 23 explains it, and then the rest of the collective can either get on board or not.
That's super great. I love it. All right, you feel good on 23?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
again, it's still mom, right? This is still the mother.
This is still within Maya. This is still within Maya. Yeah, they're all going to be within the Earth trigram as the base. The base 3 lines will all be yin. But the first 4 are going to be Maya represented. The second 4 are going to be Lakshmi represented.
Gotcha. Yep.
So here we have gate 8, which is holding together, and the gate of contribution. And the trigrams are water over earth. Streams flow together naturally over the earth. People too have their natural confluences. Ancient kings strengthened by building cities near rivers. Support and commit to relationships in the same way, recognizing their natural flow and working with it.
You know, this speaks very much to what we just were talking about with the mountain from before. The water does the eroding of it all. So we're still in the water from the womb, from the mother, and the water nourishes us. And the people who have their natural confluences would be basically the folks that have their groups. And what does mother do? Mother's always part of a tribe and a group, and she invented that stuff. She's the one that keeps it together. So Maya is the great contributor of the keeping together of our civilization. That's a pretty big deal. I like it. Perfect picture for her too. Other things just about 8. What is 8 sad over? I cannot make the contribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a great so what mom wants to make the contribution. I keep saying mother, you know, I'll go with gate 8, but
well, I mean, mother is like the base trigram of the 3 yin lines is the mother, so it's not wrong.
Right, I agree. And so, and it came off of gate 2. I mean, mother and father, 2 in 1. Hello, it's just so obvious, and it is perfectly healthy. But mom wants to contribute, as I was saying before, and it's a deep need, you know, and it's an individual one, and it wants to know that it's got that noise is no more because the explanation got concretized. Let's concretize this, what we just explained. And by the way, I'm mother, and if it's unique, I don't care. I start civilization, not the collective. The civilization is started as a unique pulse. I find that stunning. It is not started in a collective factory of minds coming to some consensus or having some wild experience to tell everyone about or what have you. It starts with the brutal force of this contribution and of the unique pulse coming out of the individualness of mom, the lion-hearted. This is mother, the lion-hearted. Gate 8, I will contribute. I might contribute my sword to this moment, right? This is mother, the contributor, the giver of the food.
I like this. Oh, God. I like this visualization of the water over the earth, like imagining a river. It's like it's moving, it's bringing stuff from one place to another, and that aspect of contribution as gate 8. And then, as you said, like gate 8's sadness and fear is not being able to contribute, and it's like a still river that's not moving. like it's just kind of sad. It's like a
Yeah.
stagnant river, like if
Yeah.
water is supposed to move over the earth, if it's
Mm.
just sitting there, it gets weird.
The imagery is perfect because it shows the water moving. It absolutely does.
Absolutely. All right, ready to move on?
Hmm.
Next up, we have gate 20, which is contemplation and the gate of the now. And the trigrams are wind over earth, wind blowing over contours of the earth, moving freely. Influence of wise kings travels freely, conveying ideas, sharing plans, and imparting wisdom. It works best to be as fluid as the wind, not imposing predetermined, rigid curriculum, first studying the nuances of life and then teaching.
Wow, that's quite poetic. I would almost save some of that for gate 12 too, but gate 20's contemplation in the now, it's the voice of integration, right? It's what integration will vocalize in its now and its self-empowered moments to preserve itself more than anything. So it's a deep guttural sound coming out of gate 20. Gate 20 carries 10, 34, and 57, all pointing at it. It's all of those things, yet it's part of the individual definition, but it's also sort of off a little bit. It's not part of any other process other than bringing stuff into the now and to basically manifest through generation what is coming now. And if you have a gate 20 in your body graph, it can be a little like a cat on a hot tin roof, sort of like the 57. You have the whole channel, it's a little bit like a cat on a hot tin roof sometimes. Right? I mean, it's because everything is now. And by the way, the sadness here, that brings you intelligence, the intelligence making chemistry that we call melancholy. So really are just moments to brew. And the moment that 20 brews on more than anything, that you'll start to notice gives you contemplative wisdom, is it brews upon, I don't know if my right now is any good. It might want, gate 20 might just want to go to sleep to avoid right now if it's not quite good. So if you find yourself yawning and you can't stay with it and you have a gate 20, um, whatever's happening is not quite now enough for you. It's pulling you away from what logically would be your now, which only you can know. And it only does it now. It's as fast as the spleen. It speaks for 34 as a manifesting generator. What more do you need to say? Right?
Yeah, it's interesting, again, visualizing the imagery of the trigrams of wind over earth. And again, it feels very natural, like wind moving over the earth. That's just every day. That's every moment in the now. And wind over earth is definitely one of the things that could immediately bring you into the now. Like it's a beautiful
Yes.
day until a storm comes in and it's freezing, or it's really, really hot and then a breeze comes and it just gives you that relief. Like it's so in the now and it changes every moment by moment by moment by moment.
It does. It's hard to be into the wind with your face or anything, no matter what, and not be brought present. You could have something, I got a wicked important business meeting, the wind is blowing. Maybe you'll ignore it, but the wind upon you tends to bring you present.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we're doing this because it's such a neat way to look over the gates through this like double trigram imagery. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm just getting new layers of understanding of all of these gates.
Absolutely, Molly.
Thanks.
This is giving more juice to what is inside of these gates as we ultimately it all goes back to what will I read for the next soul that comes my way to come to know their chart and who they are.
Absolutely. I also like that even though you've been studying for human design for 20 years, I could bring you something new. My 2551 is going to
I
bring you
love it.
something new.
Yeah. Do you remember when you first brought it up? I don't know if you remember, but my reaction was muted.
Yeah,
My
you're like,
little
what is
hermit
this? I
self
don't
was
get it.
my little hermit self was like sitting there like a cock-loaded gun, waiting to bigot upon thee. You know what I mean? I'm like, I reserve the right to not like this, and you beat my butt right through it into the thing, and now I can't wait to talk about it.
I was like, I don't know, we're doing it, and you show up for these recordings, so
I
buckle
was
up,
already on
Buttercup.
before then. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Perfect. Gate 16, enthusiasm, the gate of skills. Gate 16, the trigrams are thunder over earth. Thunder bursts forth from quiet in spring. waking the plants, stirring everything into growth. Ancient kings channeling joy of spring in music, spontaneous emotion, rich and subtle fabric of relationships, harmony of music, veneration of the supreme divinity, and family of ancestors.
The family of ancestors actually rings a tone with me because 16 becomes the accumulation of all the stuff that 18 and 48 got so deep about, pressured by joy from 58. So 16 is bringing an enthusiasm that would be essentially a deep cellular memory of our ancestral past. When you put it this way, that would actually stand to reason. Thunder bursts forth. Explain some of that. The imagery. How did you view? Because you contemplated this imagery. I'm seeing it for the first time.
Oh, so I just started this from last week's episode when I was doing the I Ching trigrams and thunder. So I was thinking like fireworks. I was thinking of something just shocking in. And so I don't know, this was just a really pretty firework that I used in the trigram imagery. So I just pulled that along with the earth, one of the earth.
Well, the thunder is contagious and it does want to spread across all of the plane, and it affects everyone through sound, right? And it rumbles their chest a little bit if it's a good bolt of thunder, bolt of lightning. Lightning and thunder, lunder.
There you go, new word. There's your 20. You're lacking 23.
So 16 does that. 16's enthusiasm cannot exist in a vacuum and must be spilled upon all, or
collective.
Collectively, and it's shared upon all. The 16 that's working right is perfectly happy to spew its enthusiasm across all of the land. And if you give it some thunder to ride on, it'll say score. Okay. I accept.
I also think of like firework displays, like thinking of like, especially with this imagery of this like thunder firework, it feels like, you know, the enthusiasm of the 4th of July, you know, or New Year's, that excitement of, you know, when you're in a crowd at a fireworks show, everyone's just kind of like excited and giddy. Like no matter how many times you've seen fireworks, they're always still like enthusiasm and fun.
Right. Always watch it again. That's interesting. That's 16 for you.
Absolutely. All
and
right.
It's still all yin. It's still all yin lower trigram. So this is not a dude's process. This is mother's process.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are still going to be in that earth trigram. All 8 of these have those base 3 foundational
I just like pointing it out.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So we've shifted into Lakshmi as the Godhead, because you can see it's the 4th line is Yang. So those bottom 3 is the earth trigram. And so now we've shifted into Lakshmi's throat gates.
Oh God, they even use words like joy and spring and music. That's so funny. As we were keynoting through.
Perfect. So next up, we have gate 35, which is progress and the gate of change. And the trigrams are fire over earth, light emerging over earth like sunrise, as the sun appears daily, renewed and sustained by earth. Inner quality, willingness to give and receive, sustains the shining light in everything you do.
I'm wondering how the heck that applies to how gate 35 currently plays itself out on planet Earth. This would be an exalted expression of 35, and I know for a fact it plays itself out in plenty of people. You know, when it gets the rest of the way, we won't have such a crash wave. I think that time is coming. 35 is quite responsible for articulating the frustration and or anger with that crash wave. That is in that emotional portion of that stream of awareness and that emotional definition. 35 down to 36 I'm referring. But as a yin process, it shall govern that. Let's not be too hot. Let's not be too cool. Let's be just right, would say the renewal process of what would be this very yin portion of civilization. So, and again, I'll say it again, mother sets up civilization, not father. I think that's, I don't know where that is biblically, but it's in there somewhere. It's because if this is the case, which it clearly is, nothing has ever made more sense to me. Every time I thought about the masculine starting the civilization, I always thought to myself, wait a second, no, because there was something before that.
Well, you need to have like the people to have the civilization. So it's like you need the people to be the foundation of creating people. And also
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
in the nature of like this feminine earth trigram over civilization and duality, it's the growing season, right? And then the masculine takes the lead for mutation and initiation towards the end of the human design year into the fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that all makes sense. I totally get that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So progress is always filling up. It's like I feel like a change. That's what's going on here. It's antsiness is I feel like a change. I feel like changing this. Maybe I might need to change that, and it wants to feel full. And as soon as it gets into an experience that is like feels what this description here would put as enriching, and it feels enriching and was able to be shared, that experience 35 must share like 16. These are two powerful sharing gates, facing off right with each other, right next to each other. And 35's wanting to share the full breadth of the end of the experience, so much so that if it can get to do it, very often it won't do it again, or it
Mm-hmm.
won't be so hungry to do it again. And you know what, 35 can also be a little bit forgetting of everything it took to get there. I've seen that before. Yeah, yeah, we're here at the experience, and now that I'm nice and full, I'm just gonna be cool. And meanwhile, back down at 41, it's like, dude, I was starving. I was trying to get stuff. I clung to a fire. Everything sort of sucked. I got to 36. There's a big fat emergency. I thought I was going to jail, and finally, you're all good. It's that's the story from 41 on up to 35. You know,
I just love how you explain it. I also so fire with the trigram of fire, it's about burning away and like creating clarity by burning things away.
I
So
can
I think,
totally see that.
yeah, absolutely. And then even like just looking at these two little graphics of like this fire over this earth, like initially like, oh no, forest fire. Like there's almost like a danger sense. But then like I live near the forest and every so often they do controlled burns to burn away that undergrowth to like cause more growth. It's actually like
Mm.
an important part of like forest management, especially in like out west in the drier areas. Like you need to clean the forest floors, or when a fire comes, it's going to be really, really bad. So it's like you need the experience to burn things away to have the experience and then allow for new life to flourish.
This is very, very good. You know what? It's also not at all the expression of what would be like the enduring fire, you know? Hang on, I gotta put something down. The enduring fire would be the thing that's the raging forest fire. This is just meant to clean stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a controlled burn.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. All right, ready to mosey?
Moseying
Onto
on.
our last two gates. So here we have gate 45, which is gathering together, and the gate of the gatherer. The trigrams are lake over earth. Lake over earth. It's a reservoir with high earth banks can grow more crops. So reservoirs with high earth banks can grow more crops, but if flooded, you would lose everything. Poised by intensity and overload, so much invested in one place. Inwardly quiet and resourceful, prepared for trouble. Outwardly communicates the need to stay watchful.
God, this is such a high expression of 45. This is they did is this language from the I Ching
This is
itself?
from my I Ching book.
Right, okay.
So it's
So
pulled from
resourceful
yeah.
with what it's supposed to be. That's the gathering together is, 44 is coming to meet. Um, and that's different. That's sort of a strategic thing that happens selectively. Gathering together is for the masses. The king and the queen speak to the masses of its tribe, and they take a certain possessiveness, and none of this language speaks quite to the possessiveness of that. The old seven-centered version. This speaks to the enlightened towards more beauty in a proper direction from what Mother Yin of Gate 2 started off in the first place in this civilization. By the way, this is not a dude's king. This is absolutely a feminine king's
Foundation.
language. Yeah.
Well, even the idea, right? So the 45, the 2145, that's this channel of the king, of the queen, of the monarch. So this idea of monarchy and tribal leadership is foundationally yin, receptive. And then the lake trigram, it's about abundance, right? That's like the way it's different than water as the trigram. Lake is about abundant, it's about joyousness. So the idea that 45 is the foundation of earth receptivity, cultivation. And then the top of it, the top 3-line expression is lake, which is about abundance. It makes sense that it's like gathering people together in the abundance and also sharing the abundance.
Yeah, it's that the gate 45 is not happy. It's not happy if the resources aren't going to the people near it, the people in its tribe, the people that are in the community that it has gathered, the people for whom 45 is a natural, magnetically attractive place to gather the people. So that 45 is the town square, in other words. And it's the speaker, first presider over the town square words. Ladies and gentlemen, that's, the speaker for 45 or 45 itself. And it's trying to give a localized bit of education, as well as spread the news of what's the scoop. And by the way, the news very much is covered with everything mom is always worried about. There is enough food, there's not enough food. We have locust, we don't have locust. The marauders are coming, the marauders are not coming. Mom, we have to be protected from that. Is there water? We need more water, we need less water, whatever it is. Yes, the yang will be aware of these things, but it's the job for mother, because 45 sits here around the wheel in the yinest most part. So what to do?
Yeah, that foundational yin.
I just love that the foundational mother to Godheads, the feminine and the masculine expressions of those two things, have all these manifesting gates, all this throat action. They got all this contribution, and I just find it stunning. All of this is guy language. Somebody in a vacuum could have come along, and if they were like, oh, you have a choice to pick that this is female or masculine, when you hear the names and these things, or you see some of the overarching stuff, and a lot of people would say, oh yeah, that sounds more like a male reference, and yet they're all female.
The foundation is, at least, because it's like there are yang lines in the top trigram.
Right. I shouldn't have said they're all female. They're all born of the portion of the wheel that is mother.
Foundationally mother, feminine, yes. Receptive. Yes. Exactly. Just like clarify.
I just love giving it to mom, because hell hath no fury. And mom is, mom, dude, everyone loves mom.
Yeah, no one, and mom managing the resources.
Boys don't fight over dad too much, but insult their mother, that's the thing.
Absolutely. So gate 45, you good to move on to our last one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So here we have gate 12, which is the standstill and the gate of caution. The trigrams are heaven over earth. Inspiration soars upward. Opportunities for realization sink further out of reach below. No creative connection between the two. The harder you bang your head against a brick wall, the more bruised you get. Be economical with your energy, seeking priorities other than external results.
Yeah, that banging your head against things does not work. Gate 12 begins the second expression of the cross of Eden. And so much happens there at the cross of Eden and in those three crosses, both before and after. So gate 12 has a very sharp, razor sharp capacity to articulate. That articulation can be like a sword that slices through, or it can be withheld. The caution in there is something, there's nothing you can do about it. Someone else cannot relieve the caution of the being with gate 12. That caution is because it knows it potentially is going to release a ton of energy. Maybe it doesn't want to yet. Maybe it's not the right timing. But gate 12's capacity to articulate becomes like 45, but more so in a way, the great teacher, because it's got an opposition of gate 11, and 11 and 12, they teach stuff, even though 17 teaches, and even though 45 does, and a couple others really, but this one is designed to teach, but only to teach the unique beings and teach for those who can become consequential. Gate 12 is happy, and its melancholy is assuaged. Its intelligence driving melancholy is assuaged when it knows there can be some form of social construct, and that it is empowered to do so with others, individually, uniquely. That's what gate 12 is. It's looking to know that there's something worth listening to. And it's looking to say, can I turn on the part of me that says, yeah, I know I can? I know I can do this or not. I know I can if I feel like it. It's the great, this to me is the most powerful manifesting gate because it knows it can. I know I can if I feel like it, if I'm in the mood. That's gate 12. If I'm in the mood to have 22 basically affect me, is what gate 12 is partially cautious against, right? Because it'll bring it into the emotional wave. 22 comes along, now there's stuff we got to do. All by itself, gate 12 is meant to be consequential with the right timing, like deeply.
And it's individual as well. It's individually consequential when in the right mood.
And we went through a bunch of collective gate, no, collective, a tribal, and another collective, but we still were bookmarked. We have bookends of individual gates. The first 4 all individual, and then 3 not, and then we bookend the end of this whole 2 Godheads of strictly yin trigram, earth trigram, with another individual gate.
Yeah, it's neat too, just the imagery of like heaven over earth. It's like, that just feels really natural. That just feels like the most natural, just the sun over the earth, heaven over earth, just hanging out, waiting, enjoying the day, like not being in a crazy rush, being in that kind of caution, that standstill, that bit of a pause. I think that's really interesting.
It stands as centurion for gate 16. Now that you mention it with the keynotes we've been talking, because gate 16 was an enthusiasm that had that needs to be articulated. This thing, it stands as a type of a guardian for everything that went before. Gate 12 becomes very much a spokesperson for all of this. Gate 12 knows it can tell how you've articulated the language, how you've been enthusiastic towards a thing, how the building has gone, how the progress has gone, how Gate 8's contribution has been made, and how the direction is traveling right now. Gate 12 becomes the social, inside the tribe too, mechanism of finally saying it all. Not the town square. 45 already handled that. This is now that verifying articulation after the fact. Person by person, just like network marketing. I love this. I wonder what else this will mean when we come to more of it as it relates to network marketing. Gate 12.
Mm-hmm. And interest.
Partly invented that or whatever. Either got good at it or not.
Also neat looking at the bottom, the hexagram of the 6 lines, you have that base 3 yin earth, and now we've moved all the way through all 8 of them, and now we have the 3 yang lines on top of heaven. So
this is a sturdy thing, an archway. These are the pillars to a wicked sturdy archway to a giant church. 3 giant stones across the top. The thing will never cave in. This is meant to be sturdy and have an opening for the people, the sturdy opening for the people. Gate 12. We will articulate for you.
Beautiful. All right.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool. So thank you, Danny. Thank you to our audience, to everyone watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, interacting with us. Thanks for all of it and for being part of it, because I just want to explore this neat stuff. So I'm glad if anyone else is as excited exploring this as I am. So
did we go off into left field too much, or I thought we stayed
I think we did really good.
Okay.
I think for like what we wanted to do, which was just, I'm just going to put this information together in some pretty pictures and see what Danny says about it with me.
Thank you, Moni.
Thank you. It's so much fun. I really enjoy being able to like deep dive nerd out on human design with you and just have these like live discussions. Like, we don't know what we're going to say. I come up with the presentations of, okay, this is the subject matter, here's some data to work with, but like, we don't know what's going to come out of our mouths beyond that during it. So
for the most part, that's true, and it becomes a great learning experience for everyone who watches this, or everyone for whom you pass any of this knowledge on to. You'll see it happen in real time. It makes the most profound effect, I think.
Yeah, and just being part of that live discussion and seeing what happens. I don't know, you bring 2 human design nerds together, and I feel like it's a very like niche specific thing. Like, I don't know that like the masses of people watching cat videos are going to be like super into our nerdery, but I think that the people who do like it are super into it. So thanks for being nerds with us.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I don't mind saying, as more and more people run into more and more difficulty, human design will come through more and more as something that will reach the masses. I believe that in my heart.
I mean, it's
More,
already happening. I've had more
yep.
people reaching out to me about human design where I'm like, I've been talking about this for years and I've never heard most people around me talking about it. And more are reaching out because, it's something that you could, it's something solid that you can experiment with, that you can find truth in.
Mm. It's so beautiful. Well, thank you everyone for subscribing. Help knock us out of the park here, and I appreciate it.
Oh, yay. We have a comment from Amanda. Love you. Loved it. Thank you. I love nerding human design with you. Thank you for being here with us because it makes
Thank
it
you,
more
Andy.
fun. It makes it
Yep.
more fun having other people with us. So thanks for being part of it and enjoying it.
Mm.
It just makes it more exciting when there's somebody interacting with it. So yeah, and
Any
next
kind of interaction feels good. I love that.
every
Thank you,
time.
Amanda.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, so next week we're going to be going through, now we're going to start going through the gates through centers. So that'll be the next few weeks. We're going to be diving into each individual gate out of the center. So next week it's going to be head and ajna. So we'll be going over those, 9 gates.
Oh, that's going to be some nice raw mechanical chit chat leading right into the various strategies and authorities and meat and potato stuff people can take right to the bank. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yep.
figured that'll be fun. So that'll be our next deep dive series. So thanks for being part of it. Thank you, Danny. Thank you to our audience. Thank you to just everyone. I don't know. I'm just excited that I get to do this and share it with people because usually I'm just nerding out on my own and it makes it way more fun when I have Danny and an audience to engage with.
Big time, Moni. Same here. We have found each other. Thank dear God.
Yay. So thank you, everyone.
All right.
We
Bye,
will
everyone.
catch you next week. Bye.
Lots of love.